Hi everyone. I'm sorry this took so long. I've been really busy. First of all, I would like to say thank you so much for all your kind words about my picture. Like I said in my post, I don't do many newborns at all, maybe three, four a year, so it's not something I do often. With that being said, I do play with Photoshop a lot for sessions, and throughout the years, just by playing around, I have kind of found a way of doing certain things. I would not want to do this often. Like I said, it's not like one action or even one click and it's done. It was a lot of work, it took time. I did it for this session because I really wanted to save this photo. This little guy here, he is only 3 and he was done by the end of the session. So I knew I did not have enough space on my backdrop. I had a different idea that I couldn't do. This was basically the only picture that he was like looking and smiling because he did not even want to look. And I knew they wanted to do a canvas, and I knew that they wanted landscape. So everything pretty much was against me in this picture, but I really wanted to save it. Everybody's on focus. The picture turned out fine, so I wanted to make it work. I like I said too, I do not like the position of my light, and I know my subjects are not lit properly. Like I said, I do very few newborn sessions in the year, so I'm still also learning light and all of that, but I am very content with the end result. So I'll try to explain to you guys what I've done. I hope it helps someone. If you do need to do this often, I would not recommend doing this just because it's a lot of work, unless you are quicker than I am. But well, sometimes there is that one picture that you want to save, so sometimes it's worth it to play around on Photoshop and figure it out and do it on your own without having to send it out. So anyways, here's the picture. I open it on ACR and I put a preset here, and you can do some fix some settings if you want to. I'm just gonna open it the way it is. So the first thing I did is I came over here as if I'm going to crop the image. Okay. And what I did first was, if you click on it and you click on X, it's gonna give you a landscape orientation. And of course I don't want it like this because I'm cropping Dad's head. So what I did was I opened it up the way I wanted it a little bit. It's hard to do it with one hand and the other hand holding the phone, but so you can even crop it a little bit more. Let's stop it right here just for the sake of explaining, okay? So when I do this, you see it leaves all the space here that I have to get out. Now, before I have had situations where I had the backdrop and I had to extend it, how a lot of you I'm sure had to do before. In this case, it was the first time that I was successful with fixing my backdrop when people are outside of the backdrop line, because over here I can just extend it if I want to, but mom is all the way out of it. So, and little brother is just a little bit here. So after this, what I did is, I don't even know the name of the tools, guys, on Photoshop, so I'll show you. This one here, I grabbed it and then I selected it, all the space. Okay, after selecting it, I got a pencil, and if you click on Alt, hang on, I'm having to do this with one hand. So if you click on Alt and then you click on a color nearby, this one, now I have that color on my pencil, so I can paint it if I want to. Of course, because of the way the light is, what happens is, this bottom here where his legs are is darker than on the top. So I wouldn't pick just one color and paint it out. I would go where I am. So on the top, I get a color from the top. On the bottom, I get a color from the bottom. And what I do sometimes, which I'm not gonna do now just for the sake of time. So after you deselect it, see how there's this line here, and then you're gonna have to fix this. Again, I do this with the pencil. I'll select a color, and what you can do as well is you can change the opacity of your pencil if you don't want it to be in 100%. Sometimes it helps to so that the color, like to kind of blend the color a little bit, if that makes sense. So just an example here. Okay, I did this. Of course, if you zoom in, his pants will be painted as well. So is Dad's hand. So you're gonna have to erase that. What I did to erase is I just used the eraser. At this moment, I don't think it's gonna let me do it just because I forgot to create another layer, but I'll do that for the mom part so you will see how I did it. So when I come here to the other side, I do the same thing. I'm gonna select, and then I select an area. Sorry, let me do it a little bit bigger. And as you can see, I'm gonna paint off mom's arm. So I think for me, where I think I was really successful and what I've learned by fixing this picture, of course I have to get this line out of here, so I'll do it again with a pencil, just kind of paint it around. And then as you can see, because I'm doing with one hand, my pencil is too big, so I'm getting her hair painted and her shirt as well. So I'm gonna do this on purpose because I want to show you guys something. When you do it, you don't have to do it with the pencil that big. So now I'm gonna get the eraser, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna erase it from her. See? And that's what I did basically with her shirt as well. So let me show you something. The tricky thing, not tricky, I mean the key thing for her shirt area, which is why what everyone was curious about how I was able to do that with her shirt. So see, I used the eraser, but now I'm still left with this space. So I zoom in a lot. I think I was on like 4,000 and something, and then I just kept using not the pencil, sorry, the brush again, and then I kept painting on the area. And then eventually I'll show you guys something here. When you do that, you're still getting her shirt again. So when you zoom in really a lot, this is what you get, lots of these squares. So I love it because these squares show me exactly where I need to, where is her shirt and where is backdrop. So can you see this here? I was actually, the size of, I'm using an eraser, and the size of my eraser is like 1 or 2, because I literally just want this little squares. That is her shirt. And then and if you zoomed out, you will see that this is the area that I was with the squares. And then I would do the same thing. I'll paint all of this part here. Let me show this to you guys. Let's paint this area. Okay, and then if you zoom in a lot. Again, I am right now on 900. Let me see if you can see 34%. So I'm zoomed in a lot, and then so I can see the squares. And then I would just with the eraser. My size is like 6 right now. Look how big it is because I am so. Oops. Because I am so zoomed in. Sorry, I just gotta get. Okay. So you either use the eraser right here. There we go. See? So my squares show me exactly where her shirt is. Do you see here? The dark part is the backdrop. So I don't want that. I don't want to use the eraser on that. So I'm going to use it on her shirt. Once I get everything white, I'll come back here. Look how zoomed in I am. Now I am over 3,000%. I get the pencil again. Very small size. I think my pencil is on size 3 right now. So I just select the color of one of the squares. And then I just paint over the squares, which is the backdrop, the dark area. And so it is extensive because I'm just showing to you guys how I did, but I have to do all of the shirt area. So I did it all over here. But do you see already how I already got this part a little bit so you guys can see? I mean, it's not, I did not use the eraser completely yet, and there's still that dark spot that I have to zoom in really a lot and use the brush to color those squares. But once, what I did is I just followed from her hair through her shirt all the way down, doing what I told you guys. Zoom in a lot, use the eraser to erase the backdrop color from her shirt, so her shirt's like white the way it is. And then zooming in a lot with the brush, I just kept painting those squares. And when you zoom in a lot, seeing those squares the way they are, it's good because you see exactly what is backdrop and what is her shirt. When you zoom in a lot, I'm gonna zoom in to show you guys.